All right. What do we have news since the court report was filed?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
Nathan is still doing amazing in placement. He's graduated from ECI. He is really just showing so much change in the fact that he's showing so much more emotion now than whenever we got him. He's smiling, he's running around. So we don't have any concerns on Nathan's end. Diego's doing about the same. I mean, he's thriving in his placement. He's won 2 school awards for just being an outstanding kid to the teacher and a leader to the other children. So they've also gone on camping trips. They've just been, having a good time over there. Just really, really, really showing the growth in the way that they're coming out of their shell from whenever they were first placed. Therapy, Diego's still enrolled in therapy and doing amazing in that. And I know that you had asked if there were any services for Diego that he could be taking in the school for him to continue practicing up on his Spanish speaking. He is actually getting to take online classes through Babbel that CASA has paid for. The school doesn't have anything that they could offer him, but I've also spoken to the foster parents who said that the babysitter that watches them speak Spanish to both of them, and they Nathan, being the younger one, also responds to the Spanish speaking well too. I'll speak to Diego every once in a while in Spanish, and the CASA worker on the case speaks Spanish to Diego as well. And he also has started soccer now in the last 2 months, I believe, and he's really, really enjoying that. So the boys are both doing amazing in placement. Manuela, she did have her sentencing hearing on March 28th, where she pled guilty for harboring an illegal. I was told that she was getting 1 year, including time served. I've tried contacting the criminal attorney for mom to see if I could get anything official on the actual sentencing, or if they had any idea of where she was being transferred after Randall County, and he has not returned any of my phone calls. And I've also been following her status on VineLink to see if I can see if she's going to pop up at a different facility, and it hasn't had her registered under a new place yet. So at this time, I do not know where she's located at, but she has moved from Randall County Jail. One of the biggest things that you asked the department to do at the last court hearing was the family search. We've completed the diligence search, and we have not gotten any results back from the diligence search on family. Mom did report to me that she had a cousin in Texas that she didn't know where the cousin was, and that she had parents in Guatemala. The parents in Guatemala, she knew their names. She didn't know an address, where they were living, or had any way of contacting them. Same thing for the cousin. And on April 3rd, I had a text message to my phone from somebody who claimed that they were mom's cousin. Whenever I started asking for information, they stopped responding to me. They did have on the text message, on the little line that comes underneath, that it said that the message was coming from Rolling Plains Detention Center, which I Googled, and it looks like it's an immigration and customs center. So I believe that would be that would be a placement that we wouldn't be able to look at. So I think that that's all of the leads that we've had on family. We haven't been able to find anybody that was even capable of submitting a home study to. So okay, I think that that'll be it. Thank you.
Okay, well, I appreciate the efforts, and in particular, I appreciate everybody's effort to keep the children bilingual. I mean, regardless of the outcome of the case, that's a great skill for the kiddos. So now's the time, obviously. Okay. Ms. Edwin?
Your Honor, the only thing I would add is that Diego said his favorite subject is math, and evidently he's considered quite a math whiz in school. So I thought that was pretty remarkable, and something I think he'll hopefully continue to work on. But he was doing very well and seemed to be happy, and family is very happy with the kids.
Okay, and I see that they're logged in this morning. So I don't know whether they want to add anything today.
No, Your Honor. I think they've covered a lot of it. Both kids are doing great. They're both a joy to have in our home, and are just I'm appreciative that you allowed us in today to be a part of the hearing today.
Oh, anytime. We're always happy to have you.
Thank you.
So thank you for taking such great care of the kiddos. Okay, then CASA.
Your Honor, they're doing well in everything, honestly. We do plan on go seeing a soccer game for Diego here pretty soon in May, so we'll get to go watch him play some soccer. Other than that, there's no concerns at this time.
Very good. All right, well, we obviously at some point we'll figure out where mom is, where they've transferred her.
And Your Honor, it's very possible, since it's my understanding she was not a U.S. citizen, so it's very possible that she may be in a deportation facility, but we'll keep searching.
I wonder if she wasn't, maybe the text messaging coming from, what was it, Rolling Hills?
Yes, ma'am. Rolling Plains detention.
Rolling Plains. Okay. That's where I'd start looking first. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I'll continue the children's placement. And we are set for our final July 12th, 2023. That's on a 9 o'clock docket. If you all do locate her, whether she's there or elsewhere, if y'all just be sure and let Ms. Grant know if you've located her.
Absolutely,
Okay,
Your Honor.
all right, then.
Pamela Ferguson, Regional Attorney, representing the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I am present and ready with Permanency Specialist Becky Hernandez and Supervisor Jasmine DeVero and Supervisor Dakota Miller, all from St. Francis Ministries.
Linda Evelyn, Attorney ad litem for the child, and I'm present and ready.
Anna Ricker for Bailey Knowles, present and ready.
Ashley Castillo with CASA.
All right, thank y'all. Okay, I'm dying to hear what the big news is.
Well, Your Honor, there was a immigration hearing set, and I believe it was the beginning of February, and I had already sent out an email, but it was an EOIR hearing, and everybody was allowed to attend by Zoom. And the judge at that hearing, after hearing how much progress we've made on SIJS for the kiddo, dismissed the entire deportation proceedings against the child. We still are working with USCIS. She already has her, it's my understanding she should have her social security card and her temporary employment authorization, which allowed her to get, we applied for employment authorization. I know she's not going to work, but it allowed her to get the social security card. So we've made progress. Now she is just in the holding pattern. She cannot get her visa until her priority date comes up in the system. Unfortunately, it's a super, super long wait for that. So we are going to have a meeting with all the parties to kind of discuss what options and maybe what we can do from here. So.
Okay. Well, that's progress. Absolutely.
And I will let Becky take over with the rest of the report.
Okay, great.
Sanaya is doing amazing. She's enjoying her new baby brother. Mom recently had at the end of February. She's a happy, outgoing girl. Every time you see her, she will show you a new gymnastics move. And it surprises me because she taught herself. She's never been in gymnastic class. She is outgoing. She loves her family, and she says she plans to stay in this home forever.
Okay, well, that is the plan. Just going to be a slow boat to China, but maybe we'll eventually get there. Okay, and Ms. Ricker, anything to report?
Nothing other than my client is so pleased to have a social security card and a green card, and the progress is very positive. And Naya has made the transition to big sister very well, because sometimes, they don't. And so she's just tickled pink and everything's smooth as butter. So I can ask for anything better.
Okay, great. And Ms. Evelyn?
I was going to add the same thing that foster mom reported, that she did have a green card, and she said that meant they could go ahead with adoption. So I've not been familiar with the process. I don't know where that actually will stand, but anyway, they're very excited that she's not going anywhere. She's going to start maybe some gymnastics classes or something this summer. And the foster mom was going back to work today after having the baby. So
Judge Bailey's hopping on now if she pops up on your feed.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And We'll give her just a second.
So clarification about adoption would help because I just don't know how that's going to work. Might wait till she gets on.
I will.
Okay, there we got her. Good morning. I'm sorry that we jumped ahead of our schedule this morning. We're waiting on some people for a different one, so I'm just trying to keep things moving. So I apologize, but we've just been hearing the good news about what's happened with immigration.
Yes, and my husband should be getting on here in a second too.
Okay.
He was working on it, but I mean, y'all can go ahead and get started. It's not a big deal.
Okay, so essentially we've just gotten the update about all the immigration proceedings and just, continued good reports about how the child's doing. And so we were getting ready to hear from CASA.
Naya's doing great. At our last visit, she kept showing me her brother, and she's a little goofball. She was doing silly faces and stuff, but there's no concerns at this time. I recommend just her staying with Bailey and her husband.
And Ms. Cervantes, is anything you want to report to us?
No, she's doing great. She's being a great big sister. She loves her little brother. But she's doing really good in school. Loves playing basketball, all that kind of stuff.
So, Ms. Ferguson, let's circle back to you about if we have a green card, then we can proceed to adoption.
Okay, so we have a temporary employment authorization. It's not a lawful permanent resident card, which is what normally is referred to as a green card.
Right.
She won't get the lawful permanent resident card until the SIJS process is completed, and it cannot be completed until her priority date comes up. Priority dates are hard to predict. I can't really say because they change constantly. They issue a visa bulletin every month. And so every month, the date so basically a child will not be eligible to complete the SIJS process until their priority date comes up on the visa bulletin. Right now, the visa bulletin is 2018. And I don't have her immigration file in front of me, but I'm pretty sure her priority date is around 2022 or something like that. And so it changes constantly though. So that means right now that children whose priority dates are 2018 or before can apply for SIJS. But next month it could change. So there's a lot of things happening right now with immigration. We don't know when her priority date will come up. So the department's policy is that we can't consent to adoption until a child has their completed SIJS. The reason being, if she gets adopted now, and for some reason her immigration doesn't get followed up on, her card that she has right now will expire. And it has to be renewed, and then she has to complete that process to get the visa. So what we were going to do is have a conversation about the options that we could go forward. The Social Security card, I think, should allow her to get health insurance, which was a big barrier at the very beginning. But I don't know, there's benefits and things like that to waiting versus not. And we'll just have to talk with all the parties to see how everybody wants to proceed.
Okay, I'm thoroughly confused.
I know. It's
I think one of the things we can do is just set up a conference with Ms. Ferguson and the Cervantes family, and then they'll know what choices they have. We can write them all down.
Okay.
We'll make that happen in the next couple of months.
And I sent an email out yesterday to all parties, to you, Anna, to Bailey, and Delinda, to get that set up. Delinda responded with dates, so we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Delinda.
All right, sounds great. Okay, then, anybody else have anything to report or any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, then, I will.
None.
None. Okay. All right, then I'll continue the department as permanent managing conservator, and I will continue her placement. And our next review hearing will be September 13th. All right, we'll
Of
go ahead and take
2023.
announcements. And it's on 9 o'clock.
Pamela Ferguson, Regional Attorney representing the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I'm present and ready with Permanency Specialist Becky Hernandez and Supervisor Dakota Miller, both from St. Francis Ministries.
Stacy Grant for the mother, Ignacio Castro, and I'm the attorney ad litem.
Ryan Turman for respondent father, Tomas Castro. I am present. My client is not. Judge, I'm not sure if it's on my end or not. I'm in Randall County and I seem to have a very poor signal. If it's okay with you, I'm going to take myself off of video and see if maybe that improves it.
Sure.
Okay.
Brooks Barfield for mom. I'm her guardian ad litem attorney.
Linda Ebling, attorney ad litem for the children, present and ready.
Ashley Castillo with CASA, present and ready.
Okay, thank y'all. All right, let's start and see what kind of update we've got from St. Francis.
So I visit the kids at the beginning of the month. Eugenia is 2 years old. She is doing amazing. She's a sweet little shy girl. She's starting to open up more now that I see her. She was very reserved when I first met her, and now she runs up to me and says hi and will give me fist pumps. Eugenia enjoys daycare, playing with her brother and playing with baby dolls. There's no medical concerns. She hasn't gotten sick since being in that home, and she is up to date with all her appointments. She was delayed in speech when she first came into this foster home, but now with ECI, her speech is improving. She will say a few sentences to me now. Isabel, he just turned 1 and he is also thriving. He started to crawl. He is starting to pull himself up. He did as well have some physical delays where he couldn't pull himself up, but with ECI, he's making a lot of progress, and we're hoping to have him walking in a few months. And he is also a happy, very outgoing baby, and also no medical concerns. He's up to date with everything. And we do have visits. They visit with dad face to face. They will do visits in Mushu for 1 hour. So far, it seems to be going good. The family support worker never reports any concerns. I popped up on them yesterday to see how the visit went, and dad was bonding really good with both of the kids. Mom is still doing her virtual visits, but we did do a face-to-face where the foster parents brought the kids to her out in the group home. So they were able to visit with each other for 2 hours. And from what I've heard, the visit went pretty good with mom and the children.
Okay.
And we do plan to set another face-to-face visit this month with the children and mom.
All right, great. Then let's just talk about how mom is doing as well.
Mom is doing amazing as well. She has completed all her services, parenting, psychological. She's still doing her individual therapy, which she enjoys. She is in school. She went back on March 20th. She is also getting a lot of help. I know the group home has requested special educators to help her with any testings or assignments. And they're also putting her in classes to learn English. And her case manager stated that she'll say a few sentences in English and that she's doing really good. They did help mom get CCS, so Alexander could be put in daycare. And so mom also got help with WIC for Alexander. And her case manager stated that she does really great tending to Alexander with his needs and making sure all his appointments are met and anything for him is met. And she does really good with him.
All right, and so any report on Mr. Shaw's client, Domingo Ramos, other than the visits are going well? How is he doing on services?
Domingo is doing good on his services. He's attending all his parenting classes. He's also attending his individual therapy with a translator who translate Keisha for him. He hasn't missed. He's been doing good. And I spoke to them yesterday, both the therapist and the person who teaches the classes, and they said that he attends them and he pays attention and he does pretty good. I sent him to go drug test for me 3 times and he's gone, and all 3 of them were negative. And he does pretty good about he doesn't contact me because of the language barrier, but when I contact him and his brother, they respond pretty quickly.
Okay. And I heard briefly before we took official announcements that Tomas Cyprian has returned to Guatemala. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But I did get in contact with Mother Maria. I finally was able to get in contact with her, and we're doing an ICPC on her. She finally felt comfortable enough to talk to me. I guess for a while she was just scared of deportation, so she would answer me. But the more I kept trying and got her comfortable, and I reassured her that we're just trying to get family reunification with her in Encarnacion, she started to open up more. So she sent me a picture of her, not a green card, but I guess, what would you call it?
I believe it's something like Pamela mentioned, maybe maybe a temporary work visa the mom has, and we got a picture of that.
So
Okay.
yes.
When we say mom, we're talking about maternal.
Encarnacion's mother. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So we are going to move forward with a home study on her.
Yes,
ma'am.
Where does she live?
Nebraska.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right then, well, let me start with Ms. Grant. Anything to report?
No, Your Honor, I agree that the mother's doing well. On behalf of the mother, we're kind of in objection to a home study without the maternal, without her mother working some services, as our client is a minor, and that would make the maternal grandmother a potential parent who has allowed a minor child to be put in a position that is unsafe for her. And so, as far as I'm not objecting to the home study, but I would be objecting, Your Honor, to any movement of these children to that, even if the ICPC was approved without a hearing by the court. And I would want the court to possibly consider some services for a mother who has allowed my client to be in the position she's in at this point.
Okay, I would concur with all of that.
Yes, sure.
I wanted to make sure I knew who we were talking about. So, number one, obviously it will take a substantial amount of time probably to get the home study, but I will make it very clear there'll be no moving the kids, even if one is approved, until we dive into that further.
Yes, Your Honor, we have already actually contacted our St. Francis offices in Nebraska for assistance getting services set up for this mother in Nebraska. So they're looking at their services. They have several things. They have in-home parenting, which I know isn't going to help for her unless the kids were there. They have individual counseling. So there are services available there. It's just a very brand new process because she just agreed to talk to us.
Okay.
And we all know, an ICPC is going to take a while anyway, so it's not like a major concern for us today. Kind of just wanted to put it on the radar because I didn't want to perpetuate generational, early lifetime pregnancies and so forth, and get two more children potentially involved down the road. Wanted to kind of be sure we were addressing that as we go.
Yeah. Well, we probably have lots of time, and mom's going to be 18. It'll be, I guess, next March. But
yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised, Judge, if an ICPC took that long, to be honest with you, because it is, we're delving into something a little bit new right now.
Yeah, which is going to be well past the dismissal date, but in both cases. But I foresee extensions coming in both of these cases. So, mom is continuing to do really well. I think we're giving her hopefully some solid ground, to stand on when she does turn 18, and she may choose to look at extended care, and we hope she does. But I would also hate to get the kids so far away in Nebraska. So that's sort of let's do it. I mean, I'm fine with doing the home study, but that's kind of one of those let's keep it in the hip pocket kind of things. Okay. All right. Since Mr. Shaw's in the jury trial, can't hear from him. Mr. Turman.
Judge, I have nothing to report. As noted, it sounds like my client has left the country, and I'm not sure what I can bring to the table today.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Barfield.
First, I want to commend Stacy on her objectioning. I think that was outstanding. I agree with her position. Thank you, Pamela, for catching that. I agree with her position as well. I think this young lady is doing well, and I'm glad that her kiddos are doing well. I obviously don't have any objection to looking at mom, but I have the same concerns that Ms. Grant would have, given the circumstances that brought this case law. I do have a question, and this is honestly a question because I'm ignorant about the subject. Is there anything that is being done or can be done to help Encarnacion with like her legal status here in protecting that? And the reason I ask is I'm literally asking for my own knowledge. That'd be the only question I'd have.
So in order for us to apply for special immigrant juvenile status for her, we would have to demonstrate to the government that she cannot be reunified with one or more parents. And then we can apply for that. But it's our policy that we cannot do that until we have a final order that allows us to send that
So if
on.
something would go sideways with mom or something, then that would be something we could look at in the future. And I'm just looking way down the road, Your Honor, as to, if hopefully she will decide with the continuing of care even after she turns 18. But that was just a question that I jotted down to ask to see. But that makes sense, perfect sense to me. Other than that, Judge, no, I think everything's actually going really well considering how we started out. That's all I got.
Ms. Ferguson, would that still hold true once she turns 18? But if she was in extended care, could we still help facilitate the immigration issues?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that it's either 21 or 22 that you can apply for SIJS. So yeah, as long as we can demonstrate that she can't be reunified with a parent.
Okay. Evelyn?
Your Honor, I guess I would also have a question about the ICPC home study and the department's policy about placing children, not with a parent, but with a relative who is undocumented and subject to deportation. So I don't know if this is the time to talk about it or not, but it's certainly an issue I think we need to know about.
So I can answer that, I guess. This has come up. The department will defer to the state of Nebraska if they approve placement there. At its heart, the ICPC is like an anti-dumping statute, really. It's to prevent one state from sending a child into another state that's going to need benefits in that state without that state's permission. So if Nebraska approves the home study, then they have accepted any benefits that they would need to provide to the family there. So
okay. As far as
I'm sorry, Delinda, I was going to add to that it's been my experience that they do not consider documentation status during an ICPC, and it's not a disqualifier.
Okay. And as far as the children are concerned, I was able to Zoom with them and the family last night. From where these kids started in really a very concerning physical condition, they have just blossomed. They're doing so well. Watched them play, run in the backyard. Obviously, he's not quite ready to run yet, but he looked very good. The concerns that I had for him are being alleviated. And Eugenia is just doing fabulous. She was busy running around. She's still very attached to the adults in her family that she was with, but she does separate. She'll go play and do some things on her own now, which wasn't even on the radar when she first came into care. So I'm very, very pleased with how they're progressing.
Okay. All right. Casa.
Judge, I'm sorry to interject. Judge?
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is just a gargled mess for me with my signal. I don't really think there's anything additionally I can add. May I be excused? I can't make anything out with my signal.
Sure. That's fine.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Randall County doesn't give us Wi-Fi.
Okay, Casa.
The kids are doing great. I don't have any concerns at this time. Izzy, he has improved a lot, and Kim and Matt are constantly sending me pictures of the kids. They're always doing some activity or going to an event in the Lubbock area for kids, and so they're thriving for sure.
All right. Okay, then I'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue the children's placement, continue children, including our mom, who is a juvenile. And we will be back set for a final June 14th of 2023 on a 9 o'clock docket that, as stated earlier, I foresee that we'll be extending. So we've got a dismissal date of June 26, 2023 on Isabel and Eugenia. And I'm showing a dismissal date on Mom or Encarnacion on August 14th, 2023. So I probably will, when looking at extensions, probably we will do those as close to those dates in each case. So we probably won't extend Encarnacion's case till we get closer to that dismissal date in August. Just because I think it's in everybody's best interest to give us as much time as we can have. So, okay. Thank you all very much. And I'll see you. You're still okay on time. I'm sorry.
Yes, the other adversary has been taken care of.
Oh, okay, great. All right.
So I'm good. Thank you.
All right, then we'll go ahead and take announcements from everybody.
Pamela Ferguson, Regional Attorney representing the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I'm present and ready with investigators Lupe Perez and Amy Harrelson from the department.
Stacey Grant on behalf of the mother, and my client is present and we're ready, and I'm the attorney ad litem, Your Honor.
Bailey Sapien, guardian ad litem for respondent mother.
Linda Ebling, attorney ad litem for the child, present and ready.
Isaiah Valdez with Great Plains Council for Kids, present and ready.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, if you want to announce what the agreement is, and I will for the record say that Mr. Shaw, who represents the father, Javen Jordan, is not present with us. Mr. Shaw's in a jury trial, and Mr. Jordan has not logged in, did not appear. But I think Ms. Ferguson can at least cover for the record what your conversations with Mr. Shaw have been. So.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Shaw had contacted me for any locating information for his client. The department has not been able to locate Mr. Jordan. We are still working on it. And so Mr. Shaw represented to me that although he was in a jury trial today, since he's had no contact with his client, he wouldn't have a position. So we reached an agreement. He wouldn't object with us going forward.
Okay. And then just to address, there is also a friend, Michael Perez, who is the father of Ms. Lopez.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I do not show that he is present. So.
And Your Honor, I can say that he did contact me. He confirmed that he was served and that he actually went to the courthouse on the first setting of this case, not knowing that it had been reset. And he represented to me that he wouldn't be present today because he is at work.
Okay, then, Ms. Ferguson, what have you all been able to work out with Mom?
Your Honor, it's my understanding that Ms. Lopez is in agreement with the department after consulting with her guardian ad litem and her attorney ad litem. She is in agreement for the department to continue with temporary managing conservatorship. She's in agreement for the placement to continue at this time. And in light of that agreement and in light of her age, the department is not requesting any medical or child support. And also, it's my understanding that Ms. Lopez has agreed to work services as well.
All right. Where is the child placed right now?
That the baby is placed with her godparents. So it's a fictive kin relationship. And they were identified by Ms. Lopez at removal as a safe placement for the child.
Okay. All right. And what have we just talked about as far as visitation for Mom? I don't know if they're in a relatively close proximity.
Yes, this is April Sanchez. I'll be the permanency specialist. She has been getting visits. She had a visit on the 4th and she'll have another visit tomorrow. And then we do have an FSW that will continue those weekly visits.
Okay, those are in person.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. And are those for a couple hours, or what are we doing?
I believe right now they're for an hour.
Okay, is it possible that we can do 2 hours based on the child's age?
I can put that request in, yes.
Okay. Is placement supervising, or do we have somebody else supervising at this time?
At this time, we do have, the placement was present during the visit, but we do have an FSW monitoring those visits as well.
Okay.
Isn't it in Lubbock? I'm sorry, Your Honor, aren't the visits in Lubbock?
Yes.
Which means travel for both mom and for the child.
Yes, ma'am.
Could they be?
And Your Honor, once services get started, we'd be asking maybe for consideration of placement supervision if placement were to feel comfortable doing so.
Sure.
Or could they be in Littlefield? That would be closer probably for both of them. I'm just suggesting look at something more convenient than everybody driving to Lubbock once or twice a week.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me just get, so where is mom living right now?
Mom is
Your Honor,
in,
mom's in Muleshoe.
All right, and child is placed in Littlefield?
No, kind of the northeast part of Hockley County. Northwest of Levelland. So it'd
Okay,
be kind of a straight shot to Littlefield.
all right, so Ms. Sanchez, are you saying that that would be feasible?
I can definitely put in the request for that and staff that and see what we can find available in Littlefield in order for a visit to take place there. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Ms. Grant, is this you and your client in agreement, and Ms. Sapien?
Yes, Your Honor, that's our agreement and understanding.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Ms. Evelyn, you good with this as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Casa.
Nothing to add at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then I will find the evidence is sufficient then to name the Department of Family and Protective Services as temporary managing conservator of the child due to continuing and ongoing danger to the child, and that reasonable efforts have been made to avoid the removal of the child, and then based on the agreement of the mother with the department. So I will name mom as a possessory conservator at this time, and not going to order any child support or medical support as agreed. We'll facilitate 2 hours a week visitation supervised at this time. We'll look and see if we can't get those relocated, maybe to Littlefield. And once mom starts getting some services done, then we certainly can explore whether or not placement would be willing to do some supervision of visits if that seems appropriate, down the road. All right, with respect to the father, Jaden Jordan, he is an alleged father, so obviously no support would be ordered for him, and we'll just continue to try to locate him. Won't obviously set up anything as far as visitation or anything until we've made contact. Okay, our status hearing will be May 10th of 2023, and that's on a 9 o'clock docket. Ms. Lopez, your attorney and your guardian will make sure that you know exactly what time you'll need to log in. That our docket will start at 9. Your case may be the first thing on the docket, but it might not be. So they'll let you know exactly what time you need to log in. And you can get started on your services. The St. Francis is going to meet with you, between now and the next hearing. And excuse me, I'll just a minute. All right, they'll meet with you and go over what services they're going to want you to work. And then you can get started on those. You don't have to wait to the next hearing, but we'll talk more about your service plan at the next hearing. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right then. Thank you all very much, and I'll see everybody back May 10th.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.